Hi everyone, welcome to another Top Dice random question generator as we continue our quest for answers. If you like this kind of thing, please like and subscribe. Joining me today, we have Lee, Pookie, it's his first time, and our regular Allan.
Hello.
Hi guys. All right, so everyone's been briefed as to what's going on, so I'm just going to go around. Lee, what's new with you this week?
Nothing apart from all that furniture moving and getting books out of storage. Not I finally on the shelves where I can see them at last. That's about it, really. No actual gaming this week.
That's a shame. Hopefully, you can do double next week. We'll see.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Fingers crossed. Pookie?
Gaming wise, I am continuing to play in our. I think we're now up to our 38th session of the Enemy Within campaign for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition.
Nice.
Which has been an absolute blast, and I play the most vicious little halfling you can imagine.
Love it. Allan, I was thinking.
Game wise, I ran another session of Castles and Crusades last week, and what started out as a request from my gaming group to learn the system now appears to be turning into something of a bit of a campaign that people are enjoying and want a bit more of. So I need to get my writing head on. So we did some story arc development. We had one of those great sessions where you just role play and story tell, and there was no combat, and about maybe a dozen dice rolls in a 3.5 hour session or something like that. And it was a really good session. Everybody enjoyed it.
Cool. I haven't been running anything, but I'm writing a dungeon sort of series of dungeon rooms to be randomly created for a little project that I'm sort of trying to get going. So that's what I'm doing. So on to the questions. Lee, start with you, sir.
Okay. That's a 4.
A 4. Right, okay. So what are your views on skill and attribute-based characters?
Well, generally, for myself, I started. My first game was the original Traveller, and I was playing a lot of AD&D as well back in the early days. I prefer them over level based. Basically, it's just it seems to make more sense to me. I've got no problem playing a game with levels. That's fine, but I would prefer skill and attributes. Yeah, that's just personal preference.
Cool, short and sweet. I like that.
Generally, yes, please.
Yeah. Excellent. Pookie, I'm gonna go with you second. Go on, see what happens. You've seen what we do, so 12, right? Okay. Right. What non-based role-playing item do you use to help you be inspired when running games?
Non-role.
That makes any sense.
That's difficult. I would suppose just reading fiction, just reading books, history actually. Just reading the history books, you can find lots of little details. One of the things I do occasionally is I do a bit of editing of role-playing games. So especially when I'm doing something historical like Call of Cthulhu, I will pick up on elements within the scenario and so on. Well, what about this? There's this actually. This ties into what you're written from actual history, and that adds a degree of verisimilitude. So, for example, have you heard of the Master and Arthur campaign?
Yeah, classic.
I was involved with the companion that was a long-running fan-based project that grew to be sort of like 600 pages long. And one of the things about that is one of the inspirations for the character who dies at the beginning, whose name escapes me, and it was actually inspired by an explorer called Percy Harrison Fawcett, who disappeared into the Amazon about the same time when the campaign plays out, and he's in New York at the same time when the campaign opens. So I said, we need to put him there so that people can actually go and talk to him if they want to, because he's a major inspiration for a lot. Jackson Elias, of course, is the character I'm thinking of.
Cool. That is awesome. Just sorry, your first question had to be sort of a little bit difficult than maybe some of them, but thank you very much. Allan, you next. Please.
Okay. What have we got?
Have a look.
19.
Oh, nice high number.
Let's go high.
First time we've had a 19. Another easy one for you, Allan. You ready for this, sir? What role-playing game that you like, in your opinion, needs a new edition, and why?
Right. So, what do I like? Everybody knows that I love Savage Worlds, but Savage Worlds does not need a new edition. You say that's an easy question. It really isn't, because I love Warhammer, but 4th edition's just come out for Warhammer, and although I've not played it, I've heard a lot of good things about it. Do you know? I'm gonna glance over towards my shelf here and see if there we go. Yes, let's pick on that one. Serenity, the role-playing game.
Oh, that's
right.
I literally just picked a copy of that up at the expo. I bought a copy for £15 with the view. Okay, I'm probably going to get rid of it because I've got a copy anyway. But basically, I need it to hand to review for next year.
So the Serenity role-playing game. Brilliant setting. Everybody loves Firefly. Stinky system. It's just, the Cortex system is really clunky. I don't like the fact that it seems like everything is an opposed role in the system, and I don't know. I just never really got the hang of it. I've done a sort of a heavily Firefly influenced Savage Worlds sci-fi game, and it worked. Savage Worlds worked really well for Firefly. That was great. But if somebody actually did an official Firefly role-playing game with a different system, one that wasn't quite so clunky, shut up and take my money.
There you go. By way of an apology, Allan, could you roll for me, please?
I will roll for you, indeed, sir. Well, what did we agree when you get a 20?
It was basically roll again, and I can pick.
Okay, so you're picking from 17 or 20 then?
17 or 20. Okay.
Must remember to take that D20 to my next game, by the way.
Right. It's either. Right. Okay. I'm going to go with 17, which is: do you run a role-playing game as written, or do you change things? I tend to tweak things, be it rules, if I'm not keen, or I fancy something different, or maybe a character option that's not in it, to sort of try, sort of based on the setting itself, sort of try out certain things, or I will do things maybe a little differently in the setting that maybe it sort of off the beaten track. Again, I know I've spoken about this before, but when I ran Rippers for Savage Savage Worlds, I ran what was it? The players had to look after the wives of Dracula, keep them alive, otherwise the alliance to get rid of the even bigger evil would fall apart. That led to a very interesting non-combat game of sort of trying to sort of survive 3 rather difficult vampires, and they had a great time. Brilliant. So yeah, I will tend to change things based on sort of how I kind of feel about the setting. So yeah, that.
I think that has to be done, doesn't it?
Yeah. Would anyone got a follow-up question? Pookie, anything you want to pick up on what anyone said? Anyone?
Well, okay. I'm going to ask you: is there a setting or a system which you wouldn't change?
Yes. That would be. There's a few. Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing 2nd Edition. I have never changed anything about that. I haven't touched a single. I haven't done a single rule tweak, or I haven't changed a single thing about that. Never would. To me, that would be, that would be sort of sacrilegious. It'd be like sort of terrible. And also, first edition, first edition A State. The setting itself, so well written, don't need to change it. That's the one. Yes. Mine, I forget where mine's somewhere. I forget where mine is. Yes, behind me. Malcolm Craig. I could sing his praises all day long. I love how he wrote that. I love these. And that he wasn't keen at the time. He didn't like the system. I ran it as was. So yeah, that'd be the 2. Really, for me, it's just that book that you just brought off your shelf there. That to me contains it's a completely complete game. Every other supplement that they put out for that is literally it's icing on a cake, and it's a very good cake without the icing. So that's really for me. Right. Well, I think we're going to call that. I think we're going to call that done, guys, because we've actually answered all our questions, done quite well, and then we shall leave our thoughts for next week, I think. So
sounds good to me.
Thank you to all my guests as usual, Allan, Lee, and Pookie as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Hopefully see you again if you're not too busy. It would be quite nice. Thank you for all your time as usual. So again, if you do like this kind of thing, please like and subscribe. And also, if you are keen to answer questions, message me and you can join in. Fantastic. So see you again soon, guys.
Cheers all.
Thanks, guys. Goodbye.